Danny Webster, Las Vegas Sun. Alec, you've obviously gone through it twice before, but is there a different vibe or a different type of emotion going into a closeout game in the Stanley Cup Final at home?
Well, I think it's only human nature for your mind to wander a bit to know what's at stake, but I think you got to fight that. I think it's finding the balance of, again, knowing what's at stake. I mean, we've known the entire playoffs what our goal was when, obviously, and going to the final, what's at stake at the end of it. So it's just trying to maintain that balance of approaching it just like every other game, and and trying to get to your game as quickly as possible. I mean, Florida's, they're a really tough opponent. You could definitely see that in each game, especially in their building. They came out, they're very aggressive and really good hockey club. So you got to be ready for that, and just take the same approach as every other.
Left side, second row. Ben Goetz, Las Vegas Regional. Reilly, you've obviously been here 6 years. You've seen the fans through a lot of things, including out there today. What do you expect the atmosphere to be like tomorrow?
I mean, it shouldn't change. I feel like our fan base here has been excited since our first year and been cheering us on for practices and pregame skates all the time. So it's great for us. It definitely keeps the emotion level high. I think this is a pretty focused group, and we know what's at stake. We obviously love the positivity, but we still have work to do, and we're focused on that.
Left side, second row.
Ryan Clark, ESPN. Alec, this question is for you. Yes, you've been in this position before, but you have a bunch of guys on this team who've been in this position of clinching. How much does that help? And then how much did it help to kind of go through Dallas in the Western Conference, where you guys knows what it's like to, what it's like to be up, but also what it's like when a team has their back against the wall and you try to clinch against that too?
I mean, I think I've said this a couple times. I think obviously experience helps, regardless of the situation, whether it's a Stanley Cup final or any other aspect of life. I think that having a few guys, or more than a few guys that have been here before, that certainly helps. It kind of somewhat of a, like Reilly just said, a focused mentality, somewhat of a calmness. Not trying to get, they're not trying to overreact or underreact, just trying to stay even keel and focused on the end goal. I mean, that having guys that have gone through that, like I mentioned earlier, it's human nature to try to get a little too emotionally high or low, throughout an emotional series and playoff run like this. So experience certainly helps. But that said, the guys that haven't been in this position, I think they've done a really good job of handling it. And, the only way to learn is to go through it. So I think the guys have done a good job with that. Sorry, there's a second part of your question. I can't remember. Oh.
How much does that experience help?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think I've said it time and time again, the fourth one's the hardest to get. Clearly Dallas showed that. But I think, having gone through that, we know the game that we have to play in order to get it finished. And, I think having gone through that, guys at least have a reference point, right? But, it's the fourth one's the hardest to get, and, we're certainly going to have to be ready for it.
Front right.
Mark Anderson, AP. Reilly's an original member of this team. When the owner said that first year Cup in 6, Marchessault said that maybe showed something you guys you didn't even see yourselves. Did you kind of feel the same way at the time?
Well, after we lost in the finals after the first year, Bill said, okay, now Stanley Cup in 3. So I don't know if that got published, but we felt like we've had the team every year to push and challenge for the Stanley Cup. We're still there today. Obviously, we're in a better spot now, but like I said before, there's a lot of work to be done. We're not looking too far ahead. We've played a great playoff so far, and we just have to keep that mindset. And we know the formula to win games, and we have to stick to that.
Take a few more questions for the guys front right.
Ian McIntyre from Sportsnet. For you, Alec, a two-part two-part question. What does it mean to you to have a chance to win Stanley Cup at age 35, 11 years after you won your first? And do those first two cups feel like a long time ago, or do those memories always stay fresh?
Well, first and foremost, you don't have to point out my age. Hope the coaches aren't listening to this, but no. Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate throughout my career to play for, you know, some pretty good hockey clubs. Played with some pretty good guys. I had, you know, a lot of really good examples to learn from. And you know, when things like that, when you're young, I know it's cliche, but you kind of think that that's, you know, the norm, and it certainly isn't. You know, but that said, you know, getting back here, I mean, this is what you work for your entire life. I guess I'm just thankful for the opportunity that I'm able to even compete for one, let alone be in the final. So. Again, sorry, I'm not good with two-part questions, apparently.
Does it feel like a long time ago, or do those memories always stay fresh?
Well, we actually had a reunion this past summer for the first one, and that was kind of the first time that I'd really gone back and reminisced. I mean, I think I try to think back on the experience, but in terms of those, I'll be honest, I don't really think about it a whole lot. I think that's kind of something that once I'm done playing, I'll probably reflect on more. But when you're in it, I mean, it's so much damn fun. You want to do it again. So, you know, I don't really think that I lived too much in the past. That'll come later in life. But you know, I'm just right now focused on trying to do it again.
Take a couple more questions on the right side, second row.
Reilly, Chris Matthews, Channel 8 here in Las Vegas. Can I ask you a little bit about how the city has kind of grown with the fans and the knowledge that the fans have kind of gained through you guys through the years, and also being back in the final for the second time in 6 years and a chance to win it tomorrow? You see on social media, you read how kind of spoiled the fans are, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it?
So it's the first part of that question. I'll probably forget the second part.
It's not as easy as it
No, it's not. Yeah, it's pretty exciting to see how the fan base here has grown with the team. You know, I remember the first probably month or two, my parents would come and watch the games here, and they said that, you know, there's a lot of people just cheering for the sake of cheering. And I think the hockey knowledge has really grown, and people have really invested a lot of time in learning about hockey and really enjoying the sport here. Obviously, you see so many people dedicated to coming to practice in our games, and just such an avid fan base that we have here. It's pretty great. I tend to stay off social media, so I don't know too much about the buzz. I try to keep my mind as focused as possible, especially at this time, because there's a lot of just nonsense going around. So I can't really answer that question too well, but it's great to be able to play here and try to bring a Stanley Cup and a championship to this fan base who's wanted it and been so dedicated to putting their time and support into us.